All right, welcome everyone. I'm here with my dear friend and teacher Moosa Ali Alikhani.
All right.
I just call him Musa because he's just the Musa to me.
Yes,
He is
it
just
is.
an incredible being, and um, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just so excited to share these codes that I've learned. I was actually at a Joe Dispenza retreat, and then I heard about Musa from a new friend I met there, who literally said, she's kind of like me. She's traveled the world for many years doing a million different things, right? Which is what I'm known for. It's literally trying everything. And she's like, this is literally the most profound thing I've ever done in my life. So of course I'm like, okay, well, I got to do it. And we did a whole night ceremony together that combined a lot of different modalities. And it's so beyond modalities. And it just like cracked me open. And awoken me on such deep levels that I was like, wow, I'd love to share this with the world. I don't want to just keep this to myself. So we have in our academy now amazing masters like Musa that are joining us to share these codes. So today's going to be kind of like a flowing interview to share some stories and some codes on how you can liberate yourself in an embodied way, right? Not just a theoretical concept, but an actual blueprint, the key to free yourself and how that actually works. And it's based on shifting your perspective in a really big way, right? In a really big way. So I'm so excited to dive into that and get started here. So thank you all for joining. And yeah, so Musa, how we met was just what a just like stars collided. Do you want to share a little bit of that story?
Of course. First of all, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. It's always a gift to share the gifts that you received, the gifts of wisdom, and above all, the only truth that we are all in this journey of life together for to realize a higher love in our being together. So it's a pleasure to make this sharing with all of you. And I hope you at least receive one or two keys that you can unlock a new doors of perception into your life. And it will be helpful for all of you. So I'm with you, Daniel. Very much thankful for having me today. And of course, I love to start with my side of the story of meeting you, because you have a side of a story that randomly in Joe Dispenza's retreat, you met a friend and she shared her experience of the healing session and ceremonies we are holding and hosting here in Tulum. And of course, that was your next destination to head to Tulum for this experience. And I feel really honored for whoever that is time that they are arriving into this work, into the offering we have, because I always say we are not choosing people. I don't market anything. I don't chase. I don't even convince anyone of participating. Everything happens on its own. When you arrived, you were marketed, you were actually invited, and you were already convinced of the truth and value of this work. And that's the beauty of doing the hard work, that it's its own field of energy that invites and brings the right energies inside. But my side of the story is more than that. For me, when I shared with you this, it was a very beautiful and very meaningful moment in my life, because uh, even not when you arrived here, I realized that. But later, when I got to know your platform and who you are, I was watching your videos and then I was like, wait a minute. I know this guy. I clearly remembered and reminded of who you are, Daniel. Because like 2, 3 months before your arrival and having these healing sessions with us, I was watching one of your videos on like the random explorer of Instagram. It was like gifting your presence to me. And as I was watching your video, I said, wow, this guy knows a lot. And I love his energy. And this person is someone I really want to meet. And I clearly made that intention that, God, I need the kind of Daniel for this work and in my life, right? And I just let it go. But I really got impressed with your work and your presence. And later, I had a dream. And in the dream, they were showing me that, look, people of the world, when they dream, most of them dream of winning a kind of a lottery in their life, like something really uh, exceptional and major in a rare probability to happen for them. The odds of winning lottery in a country like Canada is like 1 in, I think, 30, 40 million. That's the odds of winning. Uh, and in that dream, when I saw that, it was in a perspective of realization that, life made you win a lottery of 1 in 8 billion. Just one person that you made a wish that you want to meet this person. He walked from the door of your house on his own foot to meet you. And that was really such a big, meaningful gift to my heart that I still share with everyone. That I know someone that, for me, the odds of meeting this one person was a lot more than winning, like, I don't know, like 300 lotteries in
Oh,
this
you're
world.
so sweet. Well, I felt the same. I was calling in an amazing master, and I need someone that can also be funny. Like you could see, we did the ceremony. I probably made you laugh more than the other
Of
anyone else,
course.
right? Because I so
Yes.
someone that's just like super light and she's a cosmic joke. So
Yeah.
we called in each other, and it's just a reminder for all of you. It's like you can call in anyone you want. You just set the intention and then you let it go, right? Because you don't attach to the form. So with this intro story, we wanted to get you
Yeah.
inspired. I'd love to start by having you share a little bit about the perspective of like, what if we're actually in heaven and we got bored? Because it's the perspective. It sounds like a joke, but it
Mm.
actually blew my mind and is like, that actually sounds true. So let's start with that perspective and go from there.
Sure, sure. Let me start from there because today we want to talk about Rumi's work and his mysticism. Because I see myself as a lifelong student of his classroom in mysticism. And for me, it was something that I grew up with all through school years. I remember when I was commuting, going to a school, I had a long commute of like almost 2 hours. And most of the time, I was spending my time in middle school, later higher school, just reading Rumi's poems and poetry on the way to school because it's so profound and so deep that sometimes my biggest pain in life is that I say, I wish someone could really translate his work into English, but that's impossible to do. His craft of language and poetry is beyond the logical mind. When you read it in original language, the multi-layer craft of his poetry is like a combination lock. He used words in different meanings in one a statement, and then you say, okay, this has two, three meanings, this has two, three meanings. I can use this or I can use that, and everything every time makes sense, as if it's just created for your perception and your own take from what you are reading. That is so deep. Obviously, it's not something that you can translate. But there, I realized one day as I was reading his poetry, I was like, he's joking with us. This can't be the craft of a logical mind of a human. It's the impossibility that someone can just say poetry and have this many depth and layers of meaning. It's just coming from a super consciousness or some other beyond our capacity of the mind. And actually in Iran or in the world, they call his work as a Persian scripture, like a divine scripture. They only say that out of respect, didn't claim him as a prophet of God, but in essence, he was. So going back to his teachings, um, he is a mystic, one of the greatest mystics that uh, lived ever, and you have access to his work in translation in English. But I want to give you one understanding. This is the first key. What is mysticism? You have a word of apparent. This is the word that is in front of your eyes. It's a seen word. It's the realm of logic. Everything is logical. Everything is material. So for example, if I want to know about the stars and planets, I go and study astrophysics, and then I become astronomist, and basically I know about the material world of stars and planets. But who actually came to this world and said, these planets, each one of them has a meaning, and these star constellations also represent meanings. And that's the word of mysticism. That's the meaning behind the word of apparent. So it's the unseen realm that you enter into that from the world of apparent. So in his craft of work, like any other scripture or mystical work, he just created this realm of meanings for us, right? And one of the things that him as a Sufi master uh, he gifted that to us, because people think, Sufism, as a short brief also, I said, Sufism is the mysticism of Islam, or it's the mystical practice of Islam. But in essence, if you go and study, you learn that Sufis, in a sense, they are using all the religions and all the scriptures and all the mysticism as a way of access for themselves. So that's why Sufi masters and their mysticism is so powerful. One of the reasons is that they used all these bodies of knowledge. Like, for example, Kabbalah is the mystical practice of Judaism. And the point is, they connected all of these bodies of wisdom and knowledge into one coherent understanding of accessing to that divinity, or as they call it, uniting with the divine. That your basically awareness and your perception becomes so pure and so high that you are uniting in that uh, heights of perception with the super consciousness. But for now, I just enter to that story that I shared with you. I was like, in his understanding, everything, every story is a meaning. So we go back to the story of Adam and Eve. as it is being told to us in scriptures. What is that story? That God says, I created human being in heaven in my own image, and I gifted him the same power, divine power of creation. But only I said you can stay in this heaven as long as, with one condition, that you don't touch this one tree, that you don't eat this one fruit. What was the name of the tree in the story? Tree of knowledge. And what is the fruit of tree of knowledge? The fruit of tree of knowledge is knowing. So in the story, there is an apparent layer that I am a human, I am somewhere in heaven, and they said, don't touch this tree, don't eat from that fruit. But the mysticism, the meaning of it was that that's a tree of knowledge, and you don't pick the fruit of it. It's a forbidden fruit that is your knowing. And us, we think that this story is something that happened in a mythical realm. It's irrelevant to us. It's our past. But in mysticism of Rumi, everything happens in the moment of present and now. That same story is happening for all of us as a human being, moment to moment. In his understanding, he explains that that story is happening right now for you and me. God said you stay in heaven as long as you don't pick the fruit of tree of knowledge, which is knowing. So every moment in your mind, you know, you pick the fruit of knowing, you know. In your head, in your perception, you have an illusion of knowing. In that very moment, you fall from the heavenly realm of that unity, right? That heavenly realm, you fall into the world of duality. So in Rumi's understanding, this is the beauty of his work, that he explained that, now we are talking about matrix. Everybody is talking about getting out of the matrix. They made this matrix. We are trapped in this social matrix. And it's as if it's something crafted by us. That's true. We try always to create and repeat this divine work in a smaller scale. But in his understanding, the original matrix is this world of duality and your perception. So he believed that your perception, your judgment, crafted by God as human being, so you always be trapped in the jail of your perception of duality. That the code of this matrix is paradoxical duality. Did you see, like you saw this circle in that they yin and yang cycle, actually. The white and black parts are following each other. The core of the white part is black. The core of the black part is white. So he actually explained that this is the original matrix. It's the craft of your own perception of mind, that everything you judge in your life, that this is beneficial for me, this is good for me, right? And you chase it, you go to the end of it, and you open your eyes and you see it became the opposite. It actually hurts you. It's your pain. What you chase as something to benefit you, now you are trapped in the pain of it. And the opposite of it, whatever you are like hating, you're aborting, you're running away from that. This is bad for me. This gonna hurt me, harm me. When you really get into it, deep into it, you open your eyes all by a sudden and you say, wow, this really helped me. It really benefited me. And this cycle of perception is continuous forever, for eternity. As long as we exercise the faculty of our judgment, we fall from the heavenly state into this paradoxical duality. And the chase for liberation is useless and endless for us. We just go deeper and deeper into this misery of struggles and pains that we have. That's one of the biggest keys that he gave to us, that he says, this reality is a jail and you made to be the prisoner in this. God made you a prisoner of this paradoxical duality. That's the reason for us that realize that the mind has no way out of this matrix. The only way for us to get out, as he explained all through his work, is through your heart. Only love can get you out of this paradoxical duality. So that's why we are the machines, like intellectual machines, experiencing machines, that to understand and to realize this love as a key to liberate ourselves out of this jail of paradoxical duality. So that's the major key and focus of his work that that he gifted to us. That to understand the craft of the matrix is a divine craft. It's an intentional craft. And the mysticism of divine stories, like in Bible, for example, when they talk about God created human in heaven, heaven is where? Heaven is where everything is as you say it is. Right? And then when you understand this mysticism, you realize that, oh, Jesus said that you enter to the promised heaven of Lord, right? Within. The promised kingdom of the Lord is within. That is only within you. That when you realize that, oh, there is an apparent world in front of me, that is my perception, and it's my power to define what is its meaning for you. And when you learn to choose heavenly meanings all the time from everything that you perceive, that you don't judge it by right or wrong, you go to your heart, you accept it in surrender, right? With love, you enter into the heaven, within, the heaven within, right? And this idea of Rumi is so powerful in our healing and our ascension work, that you read more and more, and then you understand that in his wisdom, love is nothing but surrender. Another key that I have for you from Rumi. When do you know you love someone? When you surrender your egoic mind of right and wrong, in my benefit or in my, let's say, cost, right? Your mind always calculates. This calculating mind that makes you fall from heaven is always there. But when you surrender your judgment, when you surrender your perception, when you surrender this selfish mind, that, oh, this is in my benefit, like my partner, my husband, my wife, my children, my parents, I know that I can do something to make them happier. Or if I do this, they feel being loved by me. But my mind says, this costs you. This is not in your interest. This is not in your benefit. So your selfish, egoic mind always judging duality. But in the moment that you surrender that judgment, right, to what is in your heart, actually you show your love. And for him, love is nothing other than this state of surrender, that he received this gift by his master, actually. Another uh, a story that I can get to that also. But this was the story of heaven, that in his mysticism, it was like, understand the meaning of stories. You are created, born in heaven, and you only came to human form to realize a higher state of being beyond heaven. So for him, getting to heaven was a joke. Through his work, he's like, don't talk about me about going back to heaven. I was already there and it's a boring place. I don't want to go back to heaven. Because imagine if you are born in heaven and time there is meaningless, and for eternity, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, equal time to earth time, you could experience anything that you liked, right? Then what? Now I experience all the fun things and all the joyful things and all the pleasures. Now what? I'm bored. This is a boring place. This is this is bigger than any other suffering and pain I can imagine for myself. If you realize that in that state, that everything is as you say, everything you want is there, you can experience it, right? Some of you who had these extreme ecstatic experiences by breath work, by DMT journeys, ayahuasca trips. Sometimes if you have open chakra energy channels, you really get to that state and you experience being in heaven. Anything you wish, by your awareness, you experience that. So you really can feel how is that. But then you imagine, okay, I can be here for forever. First, it's very fun, but then what? What's the point of this? And that's why he was like, we came to earth, volunteered, and we jumped into this jail of perception, this paradoxical duality, as a mean of rising beyond being in heaven, going beyond feeling of love. Because how you can realize, how you can feel love when you are in extreme of situations that you need to make extremes of sacrifices. That's how you know big love. The story of big love for humanity all through history was similar. In extreme situations, some of us showed the extreme of sacrifices and surrender for the good of the other. And that's how they remained in the history. Even mothers, for example, that's why mothers are naturally can have great access to this understanding of love, because it takes a great sacrifice they should make. to be pregnant with all the suffering, to give birth, to raise a child. It takes every day a struggle and suffering for the good of the other. So we are souls from heaven that in human body we get access to these very precious heights of perception in this universe, which is called love. Because here we need to make a sacrifice to realize that. In heaven, anything you wish is granted. It's given. It's happening for you. So it all comes with no effort. It all comes with no struggle, no sacrifice, really. But we wanted to feel love. That am I ready to face the randomness as if I don't know what is happening for me? I don't know what is coming for me. But in every situation, in extremes of pain and suffering, I can show to myself who am I as a loving awareness. So every human being in Rumi's world is a love story. Each one of us came into human form to tell a love story. If you look around to each one and every one of us, it's just our struggle and journey to understand and to show that love as a story that is our life.
I love that. So how people are wondering, how can I surrender deeper? How can I break that cycle of the suffering in a practical way? So what is a path for people to take to really dissolve that judgment and that the think that we know, to allow
Yes.
ourselves to return to heaven within?
Well, um, first of all, when we open our eyes to the reality of our life as self, or what they call as self-realization. Mistakenly understood, they think that when they talk about self-realization, they talk about you realizing all your selfish self, like living all your desires and living all of who you are. That's for me, myself, for a long time, that was my understanding of that. Oh, the height of like Maslow pyramid, the peak of it is self-realization. And I was like, oh, that's where you realize all of yourself, which means that you are living all your capacity, all your desires, everything, all your dream, and that's self-realization. But Rumi and mystics, when they talk about self-realization, capital self, they talk about the selfless self. That can you realize your selfless self, the self that is all being self, as if all of being is one being, one self, and you realize you are that. Sufis, mystics, they call this Wahdat Wujud, or unity of being. Most of the Rumi's work, the core of it is around this concept, the unity of being, or the selfless self, all being self. I explain what does this mean. Another key for whoever is listening and watching this, imagine this, that Rumi says that all life, everything that you perceive in this reality is a clear mirror of your being. It's the clear mirror of your ego. Anything you assume, you believe, is being reflected clearly in front of your eyes. Meaning that if anyone is in your life, your partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't know, siblings, parents, business partners, customers, boss, whoever that is, anything you see in them and you judge in them, your perception of them, is actually you seeing that part of yourself in front of you, manifested to your field of perception as the other. So you experience the self as other in the mirror of life. I explain what does this mean. Someone comes and says, oh, I am being betrayed in my love, cheated, or all my life I was dealing with lawyers. They cheated me in business or in my love life or whatever. In Rumi's word, life is a mirror. Why you always deal with people who are lying to you? Guess who is the one who is a liar to herself or himself? You. You are the one who is lying to yourself all the time. You are the biggest liar in your own world. And the manifestation of that becomes you dealing with all the liars in your life. If you betray the truth of your heart all the time, you know something is wrong for you in your heart. You know something is true for you in your heart, but you betray your truth in your action in your life. You are dealing with all the people who are betraying and are dishonest. If you are in debt, financially struggling in your life, that's manifestation of you again. It's a mirror. You should ask, where is it that I am in debt to myself? Where is those due payments that I don't make to myself? Where is that overdue attention, overdue care, overdue work for myself? This is his word. Rumi's word of like the healing key that he has. I'm holding these healing circles. Like privately, I work with many people, you know, that's all we do. We sit together, dropping our ego and becoming brutally honest with absolute ownership of every hardship and every struggle and pain that they have inside their life. Reflecting, making inquiry that what is this reflection of something inside? Ask yourself today. List your biggest one exercise you can do. I promise you, this do the greatest healing work for you. List all the pains and struggles you have. List all the people who are annoying you, hurting you, are painful in your life and what you are judging them for. And then write for yourself. Where is it that I am like this to myself inside? And you will have the biggest realizations of your life. That all life is this clear mirror of everything you hold true inside. The truth of you is pushed out into the reality that you perceive. And this is where all the mystics, they say, the seekers in this path enter into the state of absolute wonder. Because there your logic, your mind sees. Your logic fails. Why? Think about it. When you make this realization that everything in your perception is a mirror of you, then you realize that, oh, every person in my life, all the situations in my life are actually like the actors that I gave them the role, that I gave them the meaning. And the opposite of it is also true. The boss that you hate so much, you are struggling with, he is the mirror to you. He is the actor in your reality. Anything you judge of him is you yourself. And the opposite of it is also true. In his reality, you are the actor in his reality. Anything he sees in you and judges you is himself. So we are just like mirrors reflecting to each other. And how does that make sense in your logic? How can that be true? Who designed this mind-blowing craft? That all that matters you experience is the self in you. All the word, even all the political bullshit and all the unfairness and all the pains that we are suffering in this world by, it's part of your being. And there you understand that we are truly one being, unity of being. We just experience it locally, as if you are only one name. You put yourself a name on you, Daniel, and you box everything inside that Daniel. But if you arrive at dropping that name, that's okay. Imagine I'm just one awareness, one loving awareness. I'm a love story and I'm a loving awareness. I see through the lens of this box that is named Daniel. But my true being is limitless. And that's the next ascension key of Rumi that he talks so much about, that after this realization of mirror of life, you arrive at a place that you realize that everything, not only in this world, but also in all universe, is already inside. You have access to that from within, from inside you. That he says that whatever you are seeking, right, you are already that. And everything you seek in this universe is already in you. So when you realize the mirror, this is how it works. If everything is a reflection of myself and I'm struggling financially, for example, or in my love life, I feel betrayed, or whatever my perception and experience is, I don't deal with it in the outside world. I don't need to. The only thing I need is to go within, find and isolate that belief, that feeling inside me. The feeling of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, for example. You put that belief in front of you. Why I am struggling? Because I have a belief inside me. It's a trauma from my childhood. I feel I'm not good enough. I feel I'm not worthy of more than this. And there you go deep inside and you change that. That's also the work, the kind of work that we do. You arrived as a guest. We do this somatic healing work that we go really deep. We penetrate through the lifeline traumas, and when you clear the top of it, actually next week, I think we have a workshop about that somatic healing and ascension work we are doing, I think.
Yes, on Friday in the academy, we'd love to go so much deeper into these ascension keys in the practical way to literally free yourself. It's helped me so much. And if anyone here is not in the academy, we'd love to give you a free trial so you can join and experience all the incredible upgrades. And
I
join.
really say please do, because this workshop we hold is about going deep inside you and isolate those feelings in somatic body of us, in the physical body. That is another wisdom of Rumi and his master, actually, that everything we feel is in our body. They know this 800 years ago. Now the modern science and psychology and neurology discovered that, oh, wait a minute. Everything you experience in your life, your brain only keeps the information, the visual part of it. But everything you felt, the experience of human being that you had, from your birth till now, your body is a storage machine. Your nervous system deposited and saved everything that you felt in your life in your body. And different parts of our body is responsible for holding different experiences that we had. For example, if you get panic attack, anxiety, it's from mountain of experience of stress that you had in your life, right? And that mountain of experience, the storage is your stomach area. All your guts saved all the feelings of stress in your body. If you had anger about injustice in the world, your heart area, your chest is the area that stores all this anger. And that's why mostly men, they get into heart problems when they get old, because these feelings piles up, and then it changes our biology and physiology in our body. The healing work that we do is the wisdom of the Sufi master Shams Tabriz, that he actually gifted this to Rumi, and Rumi is the child of this healing work, that he showed up randomly in his life. And because he was already an accomplished scientist and really well respected, but this guy was a poor man, wandering dervish, in middle of the road one day, he shows up and he asks him one question and totally ruins the Rumi's word, because he tells him that whatever you learned and you know in your life, you studied, you know nothing of this. You are trapped into the logic of your mind, which is very shallow. Come with me. He takes his hand. They go inside one room for 40 days and nights. They don't leave. And this is the gift that he gave to me. He said, let me take you to the world inside you. I show you in your body what is that you keep and you store. That your whole world, whatever you experience outside there, is actually manifestation and reflection of these feelings you hold in your physical body. So if you deal with any kind of complication situation that keeps repeating in your life, and all of us, we have that, if you have long pains and struggles in your life, it's within your body. It's a feeling. The baseline of your experience of life as a human being is your body, what you feel in your body. That's why no matter how much money you have, how much fame, how much power, how much success you have in life, if your body was a deposit of depressing feelings, you are depressed. No matter how much therapy and medications you take, it's just like a painkiller. Your body is the anchor of your life experience. This is the wisdom that was gifted by Rumi's master to him. And as I said, next week we will have a deep dive into this somatic ascension work, that we can open it up and how we get access and how we release these feelings from the body and we heal, do the deep healing work inside of us.
It's absolutely incredible. I'm really excited to go so much deeper here. One more question, in the last few minutes, Moosa. I'd love a short answer to this, because there's a lot of distortion with like the guru student thing we're seeing. So I feel like people also be like, oh, it's not about going outside yourself. It's, you don't need a master. And I think they're both kind of extremes. And what I've learned is, the true meaning of a master like Shams was someone that you would surrender your ego to, because we need that in order to fully let go. So can you just speak on that for a couple
It's
minutes?
not need, Daniel.
Yeah.
It's the truth. If you want to realize love, if you want to understand self as other, Shams has a famous saying. He says, if you should find someone that you practice absolute love and surrender, that you hold no ego for, it's a practice. If you can't find someone, if you are that poor that in your life you couldn't take someone and totally surrender to them, go find a stick of wood, and for God's sake, for your own, for the sake of your own liberty and enlightenment, love that wood stick to the end of the world. Surrender yourself to that. So he means that it doesn't matter who is that person or what is that. You need a place to have an ego death that you choose. Obviously, the wiser, the more loving that presence is, it's much more helpful for your own healing and enlightenment. Because what you see in them is yourself. Don't forget. If you judge someone as wise, as loving, it means that they are holding that part of you in front of you.
I love that. Well, on that note, if anyone feels called to connect with Moosa, I'd love to share his contact with all of you here. If you want
They
to,
can, yeah, if someone, I make it here, we hold private, like Rumi inspired private healing circles. Like I work privately with people because, as I said, I become the mirror for them. So in the mirror of life, we open up all their pain, traumas, struggles, and we make inquiry, somatic inquiry, where in their body they hold this feeling, so we can heal it, right? They can go, we don't have the website like the content up, but we have a contact form on our website, Ascension Somatics. Can I write that? I can type it right.
I can type it in,
Ascension,
yeah,
yeah.
ascensionsomatics.com.
Somatics.com. There is a contact form that for receiving our presentation details from me, you can just fill up the form and I can send you the information.
So that's a
But
deep
yes,
dive, just an all-night ceremony. If you really want to go deep and go meet up with Moosa in person, and you
oh,
can also
that's
do like
another somatic healing we have is out of this world. Any
it is
one
out of
of
this
you,
world.
if you come to Kolu,
Yeah,
Daniel can recommend, I guess.
it's mind blowing. It's intense. It's kind of like having a full rebirth, to be honest. So, but if you feel like you're ready for that, reach out to him, and you can also get a session on the phone if you're not ready for the full thing, right?
Yes.
Moosa can help reflect and be the ultimate mirror.
Yeah.
So that also could be a good starting point if you'd like to just deep dive and really get clarity on all this confusion that we've been in for lifetimes. It's really priceless.
It's
And we're going to do a lot of that next week on Friday. Someone's asking about how do you join the Dreamporting Academy.
yeah.
So we're going to send out a link with this replay for everyone here shortly, and give you a link so you can join a free trial if you're not in it yet, and join us next week. And we also have some incredible people. So I'm just going to do a quick announcement before we close. We have my friend Poonam coming on next week also. This is someone that does Nadi astrology, where she literally found in India a 2,000-year-old scroll of my whole life that really showed me the key to my blocks and the patterns I've been in for lifetimes, and just gave me a huge transformation. And it literally reads your whole life to you. And then you can, by being aware of it, you can change the things you don't want and have a more accelerated liberation. So it's the mind-blowing thing that I discovered. I didn't even believe it was real at first. And it literally knew, it had my name and my parents' name, the exact day and birth date, just from my thumbprint. So we have that and a bunch of other incredible teachers I'm going to be on to share. We have coaching and intuitive readings. So it's basically an all-in-one platform that's a mix of a coaching guidance program, a mystery school with incredible teachers from all lineages, and so much more. So I'm really excited to see you on there next week. And really appreciate you all taking the time to come here and experience this. So take a moment to really journal about what Moosa's been sharing. Tune into what's
Can I
inside,
make
right?
a request here? Like,
Please.
because it's a roomy circle. We can finish just with a moment to get within and make a reflection as a group prayer, if you allow me for a few seconds.
Please.
Yes. So let us just close your eyes and we connect to our hearts in this moment, just to reflect on the keys, the wisdom that we heard and we shared together. And we open our hearts to accept it as a light within, to make it our inner light that rise to be our inner wisdom, that in everything that we perceive and we see, we make the inquiry within to see ourselves reflecting in the other. to be present in loving awareness, that we surrender our selfish, egoic judgment that is asking for his own, her own benefit and interest, to surrender that to their benefit and interest. That we do what we do for ourselves lovingly, for every other in our life. And may that be the blessing and gift to our hearts in today's session. Amen.
Amen. Wow, I feel so incredible just from hearing that transmission. How's everyone feeling here today? Seeing a
You
lot of
can write in 2 lines, everyone accept it, just write in the chat box, this is how you receive it. Claim it, just reflect how it feels, what you got from it. This is mini journaling. By this, you give yourself the permission to accept and reflect on what you received.
Mm.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledgement. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being here. You were all guests of Rumi here. You are all invited to his circle. As I said, everyone here is chosen. We didn't choose you. We didn't chase you. We didn't convince you to be here. You came by your own feet here to hear all this and to receive this. Acknowledge that you are the chosen for the inner light, for the inner wisdom in this moment of your life.
Amen.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
beautiful. Yeah.
All of you loving awareness. We are all together when we are in love.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Let's the
so beautiful
love be.
reminder.
Remember, you are the love story. Your life is your love story. Live every day, every moment, asking, what is my love story in this life?
Your life is the
And
greatest
make
love
that,
story ever told.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see you all next week and to dive deeper. This is such an important teaching because we spend so much time and money trying to fix problems and it just keeps cycling because we're in this false illusion of our perspective. And
I
so
promise Friday session, we go deep, 2, 3 hours of opening up this. I promise everyone can leave that workshop with much clarity because this is a very powerful work. It can be the gateway to your deepest healing and enlightenment, truly, as it happened for many, many who arrived into this work. That's why Rumi is Rumi. He is appreciated and celebrated for this wisdom. Love you all. This is all gift to my heart to see all of you receiving this gift. Thank you so much.
thank you all so
Blessing
much.
to
So
you
much
all.
love. Blast it open and we'll see you soon.
See
Take care,
you.
everyone.
Bye.